Hi, everyone.
Hey!
What's up? Hope everybody's doing well. Staying warm because it's cold.
It is very cold. I made fire. Call back to an older video.
Such a good edit. This video is going to be all about weakness and progression.
Take two.
Take two, definitely. Weakness definitely plays heavily into the progression of your character.
Yeah, and the progression in this game is very much a leads to B leads to C leads to D kind of system. Just running through that really quick, we're going to go into each one of these in more detail. Attention is going to lead to your improvements. Your improvements are your improvements for your power tags and your themes. On the other hand, you have your crack and fade, which is going to lead to replacing themes. When you replace themes, you're going to start building up points toward your moments of evolution. You're going to get nemesis. You're going to start over with nascent themes. Once you get enough build-up points, you're going to get your moments of evolution. And somewhere down the road, once you've replaced enough themes, you're hopefully going to become an avatar or a sleeper.
You're either the mega OP very embodiment of your mythoi itself, or you've completely detached from it completely to the point of being able to become a void, essentially.
Become a void, the way we use it. The mist is working so hard to cover up stuff around you that nobody's stuff works around you, which is really cool. So we're going to start at the top with attention. Tell them a little bit about attention and how to gain it.
So attention, very much in this game, I would think is kind of like the forefront of how you're going to progress as a character. It's where everything kind of starts off for bettering your character, essentially. Yeah. In order to gain attention, the most common way that that's going to be happening is you're going to be playing off of your weakness tag.
Absolutely.
Anytime you employ your weakness tag, it doesn't matter what the scenario is. If you can realistically, I guess I could say, argue the idea that I can apply this weakness, whatever that may be, in this specific scenario, you can take that -1, and it doesn't matter if you succeed or fail on that roll, you will get a tick mark on that attention tag.
You get a tick mark. You also get one every time you resolve a mystery or identity. You also have the option to get one as a player move every time you are in a downtime scenario.
Yep. These will eventually start to stack up. Once you have a total of 3, you're going to go into what's called an improvement.
And there's a few options for improvements. The big one that everybody focuses on first is a new power tag. On the other side of that too, you can also take a second weakness, or you can rewrite your weakness. Or if you have more than one, you can remove a weakness, but you always have to have one.
I feel like I would never want to do that, knowing that I can apply more weaknesses so I can get more power.
If you apply 2 weaknesses at the same time, do you get 2 attention?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to look this up in the book, but I'm pretty sure you can.
That would be really neat, because then, sure, I'll do that. And then the next time I do that, I get a third one. So now I'm applying 3 every time. And now I'm just getting improvement every time I roll. You can do that and just, full power fantasy. There you go.
You also...
yeah, other improvements.
Yeah, so you also have another option that comes in this category when you're improving your character. They're called theme improvements. Some common ones you're going to see on there, they're kind of used quite a few times on there. It basically allows you to take whatever theme you have that you have gained these 3 attention in and pretty much make it have the ability to make moves dynamite. Now that's going to happen anytime you roll a 12 plus on your roll, and you're going to have the actual player's guide because it does give you some extra stuff on top of it.
And with the dynamite stuff for the different mythos themes or the different logos themes, those are always, if you get it from this way, those are always attached to a specific move. So it might be attached to your convincing, or your investigating, or your going toe-to-toe, or something like that.
They all have different options.
One offhand expression is tied to hitting with all you got. So if you roll above a 12 with your expression mythos, then cool, you hit with all you got on a 12 plus and you have more options.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly,
because it's dynamite,
you basically hit it, and instead of dealing the traditional kind of like 1 or 2, like it's an automatic 3 status.
3, and you can get it up to a 4, or it's automatic 4 or something like that if it's dynamite.
You also have to, within this option as well, another good one that you may want to look at. I wouldn't do it because I feel like it's going to hinder the progression to an extent. You can also reset your crack and fades. So if you have started to kind of pull back on some of those things that you've got going on within your logos or your mythos, you're kind of shifting back into getting more in touch with it. So I'm actually going to retract my statement and say that's actually not a bad idea.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah,
I feel like every character, if you're actually wanting to play into the progression system and do a long form kind of game where you do the leveling up and becoming these super amazing avatars and sleepers, there will be things that you have on any character that you don't want to get rid of. There will be things that you want to this is the core of my character,
Exactly.
and I never want to get rid of this one because this is where most of my ability comes from.
And that's where I started thinking when I was
Right.
like, wait a minute.
And there will always be situations where you don't play into your character identity.
Mm-hmm. And when you start getting into situations like that, that's when you're going to start heavily starting kind of to skew into the crack and fade type stuff. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to crack or fade. The name is, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter in the fact that you're calling crack or fade. It's the fact that you're taking, you're taking negatives essentially on your character card.
It's moving, attention is moving more in line with that theme. Crack or fade is that theme breaking and you moving away from it.
Yeah, you're starting to kind of detach from that other part of yourself or your myth.
When a theme fully cracks or fades, it's going to flip. Either if it's a mythos, it's going to flip to a logos. If it's a logos, it's going to flip to a mythos. Mm-hmm. There's a few different ways to get crack or fade points.
Some that you can get right off the bat. You can be thrown into a situation the game basically has it set up. It's a player move. You've got It's called making a hard choice, where you have a scenario set up by maybe the MC, or maybe even you kind of got yourself into the situation to where you have a choice where you have to do either example A or B, and it might go against what your player's identity is, where he's like a good guy, but you might have to do something that's not considered good,
or make a Faustian deal for a deal with the devil, for lack of a better expression, even if it's not the actual devil.
And another one too that this happens in, that's going to be kind of regular depending on how you play, is going to be when you execute the stop holding back.
Stop holding back's a big one. It can be everything from mark 1 point of crack or fade to fully crack or fade a theme, and that theme is gone and it flips immediately to, hey, you failed, you're dead. So.
And when you flip these, they're going to become nascent themes. Just going to touch on this a little bit. It's a theme, yes, but they're called nascent themes. They're going to progress and they're going to change a little bit different.
The first time you fill up attention 1, you get your second power tag. Attention 3, you get your third power tag, and then you reset and it's back to normal.
Yep.
The benefits of having something crack at this point, and if you only have 3 tags, there's not really any benefits. If you don't have any improvement, like theme improvements, there's not going to be any benefits to this. But once you start getting those extra power tags beyond 3, you start getting those theme improvements. Each one of those is going to go into what's called a build-up point whenever it cracks and flips.
Yep. Anytime you basically flip one of these themes, from logos, mythos, logos, it doesn't really matter. Any power tag you have beyond 3 is going to give you a +1 build-up point, or any improvement that you have stacked on it is also going to give you an additional +1 to the build-up points.
Once you get these build-up points built up entirely, I can't remember how many tick marks there are. It is on one of the character cards, though. Once it's built up entirely, you get a moment of evolution, and this is where the big character growth happens.
So these are what I would say kind of like the pinnacle of what's going to basically give you like the I have the power, I'm getting stronger and all that stuff. There are going to be some different options that you're going to have that you're going to be able to make when you're going.
These are the Sentinel of this game.
Yeah.
The Sentinel feat from 5th edition, that's what these are.
And they're going to allow you to pick some different options that you can pick once you have all these little tick marks filled in on your character sheet.
First option right off the bat, you get another broad tag. You're no longer limited to 1. If you ever, your limit becomes 2 broad tags. If you ever lose 1, you can make a new one. You are always capped at 2 broad tags after this.
Yep. You can even pick some additional themes. These themes themselves stand alone beyond the 4 that you would start off with. So yes, you could have 5 essentially,
or 6,
or
7.
Depends on which ones you take, because you can take many over time, but you can never take the same one
more than
again.
Once. Right.
Some of those themes that you're going to see, you're going to be having an ally, kind of like maybe like your little sidekick, or maybe like Batman's Commissioner Gordon, who's like your informant or something like that. You also have a base of operations, kind of like the Bat Cave, if you will.
Batman's a really good example for all these.
And then I'm going to stick with Batman again, the ride, a vehicle, the Batmobile, the Batwing, something like that.
Each one of there's 3 of these, and these do overlap heavily with some of the stuff from Shadows and Showdowns. But that being said, and they overlap even a little bit with the crew stuff.
Yeah.
But if you take one of these, keep in mind that this is not something that anybody has access to but you. And these are real places, real people, real things that your character has independently of everybody else.
Another thing that you can choose to do with this is, say you have a nemesis that has been created. For example, when you start flipping your tags back and forth, you're supposed to have a nemesis that kind of correlates with that flip that you've done.
Every time.
You can basically get closure with that, so it's no longer going to have a negative impact on you. You can also, what's super dope is you can go through a transformation. Now this is rad because you can essentially, if you want to, create an entire new character.
Or you start your character off, you do all these flips and these cracks and fades, and everything gets kind of weird, and you just start playing out and having fun and everything. You do a few of these moments of triumph or moments of evolution. You take a few different things, and you at the end you say, okay, cool, I'm going to transform my character, and then I'm going to tailor make it to exactly what I want. When your character transforms, you can change any single aspect of the character. You can change every aspect of the character. All of your theme improvements, all of your power tags, all essentially count as 1 point, and you can move those points around however you want.
And when you do that, those will actually turn on and feed right back into the build-up too.
Yes. The next thing that you can do out of this, and actually the next two, they're entirely for story purposes. You can leave the city, or you can see through the mist. And the degree to which these affect the game and all of that is something you need to talk over with your MC, because these are not for any kind of growth. These are 100% just for story progression. You left the city, and there is nothing else in the world.
Maybe.
Or you left the city, and the city's this giant devil trap. Or
it's like the village from that Chambo
exactly.
movie.
The other side of that, you can see through the mist. Maybe you can see everything through the mist.
One example that I really liked in the book when I was reading it is it basically kind of one of the options that you get when you select this, because when you're being able to see through the mist, like he said, you're going to be talking to your MC about what it is specifically kind of you want to see. And like the example that's used is you're able to basically tell by looking at any person or
whether or not they're awoken.
And what mythos exactly,
right?
Like
what
mythos
type
is affecting them. Yeah, it's really cool.
There's lots of ways to use these. There's lots of ways that these are making very interesting stories. I would love to play a game where eventually somebody leaves the city and comes back and they are never the same. They have this vacant look on their face because they've seen this whatever is outside of the city, and they don't want to tell anybody about it because it's the reason you can't leave the city.
And the other one that I definitely want to mention before I move on from here is, it happens to be one of my favorites, because one of the options that you do have in the moments of evolution where you're going through and you have all those ticks on your on my brain is now short.
Your build up.
Thank you. On your build up, is it has, I think, a total of 3 or 4
three times.
You can actually select one of the options to make any player move permanently dynamite.
And it's any player move, any core player move that you ever want, that you can put it on any of.
Dude, there's so much.
You can put it on hit with all you got.
You can put it on. You take it on. Let's say I'm going to take it on Face of Danger. I'm going to take
Investigation.
it on with all you got in Investigation.
There you go.
I win City of Mist.
That's it. I'm done. But that's a lot of build up to get to that point.
Yeah,
too.
that's 1, 2, 3, at least 3 full build ups.
Yeah. I think that's everything about progression.
There was a lot of information.
There's a lot of information.
We definitely had some technical difficulties before we got started.
We sped through it very fast, so if there are any questions or anything that you want us to talk about at more length or give better examples of or anything like that, leave it down in the comments below. We're always watching the comments and trying to help people, or even just have general conversation with people about everything.
But until then, catch us on our Twitters.
And the Discord.
Pop that down on the bottom. We love you. Stay awesome. And be excellent.
We'll see you.
Peace.